So just before we start, I graduated from Cordova High School, so I've been in the area all my life. I still live in Rancho Cordova. All right, so I'm going to try to squeeze a lot of information in a half hour. I usually take about an hour and I never get through it, so I'm going to kind of move fast, but if you have questions, you can just holler at me and let me know if you have questions. So just some quick information of why you might want to transfer, right? It's pretty staggering why your parents are wanting you to go to a four-year college, right? The numbers are pretty clear why. This is during tough times and unemployment rates go up. You can see who's most affected. So the California Community College system is part of a very large system in the United States. There's actually, that number is now changed. There's 114 campuses in the community college system throughout California, 23 CSUs. There's 10 UCs, but 9 of them do undergraduate, so there's really 9 options. And there's thousands of private and out of state. So there's plenty of options for you, right? Here's kind of a cost comparison breakdown between the different options. Now this is not including financial aid or grants or scholarships. Some of these could be cheaper depending on the option. So, you know, not every option. Sometimes UCs can be cheaper than CSUs. Sometimes students could be, UC could be cheaper than us, depending on if you got a full ride, right? There's a lot of variables. So here's our enrollment fees and kind of a rough comparison in terms of what your costs will be in terms of parking passes, books, right? We do have a fairly new program that started this semester called the California Promise, which Los Rios is a participant in, which means that if you don't qualify through the BOG fee waiver, which is now called the Promise, or now called the Promise Grant, which is confusing because it sounds similar to the California Promise, that you can do, if you don't qualify through financial aid, you can now do the California Promise, where in Los Rios, you just have to commit to being a full-time student, which is 12 units each semester, and you have to do your math and English in your first semester, and then you'll get your fee waived for the first year. So that's where that free tuition thing, it's not really called free tuition or free semesters or free year, it's the California Promise. All right, so at American River, there's a whole lot of scholarship opportunities for students to get additional funding if they would like to fill out some applications. There's one ARC application that can help them apply to many scholarships. They don't have to fill out a whole bunch of applications. One scholarship could potentially put them in the pool for over 100 scholarships. We do have financial aid. There's the BOG fee, which is now the Promise, or the Promise grant. There's grants like the Cal grant, the Pell grant. It just all depends on what you qualify for with your household income and other various factors. And that's typically done through the FAFSA form, which I'm sure many of you have heard about, which you can fill out now. It opened in October 1st. And if you want to apply to Los Rios, you can also apply for both spring and fall now, as that application also opened on October 1st. So your closest community colleges to you in the Los Rios district is American River College, which I'm from. Your closest one is Folsom Lake College. You also have Sacramento City College, Cosumnes College, and then out of our district, your next closest would be Sierra College. All right, so these are requirements to attend high school diploma, GED, or at least be 18 years or older if you don't have a GED or high school diploma. We do have a process many of you may know about or participate in called advanced education. That's for people or students that are high school students who want to take college classes while in high school. And so there's a whole process on that, which you could get more information about if you like. So these are kind of our processes that every new student kind of goes through as a new student. So you do the application, you go through an orientation. Our assessment process is being changed because of, I don't know if anyone follows legislature, but there's the new AB 705, which no longer allows us to assess students for English and math. So it'll be primarily based off GPA and other factors. You're going to meet with the counselor and then register for classes. So here's a quick overview of some of the things about our campus that make it special. We're one of the larger campuses in California. Right now, we're about 25,000 students. At our peak, we're about 45,000 students during the recession. When economy is good, schools tend to have less students because they're working, right? Some reasons why you might want to choose ARC or a community college: obviously low cost. We have a lot of people. There's a myth sometimes that going straight out of high school is the best way to get into a four-year college, but it's actually in some ways easier as a transfer student. I was just at UCLA the other day, and they were saying their admission rate for high school students is about 5%. And then for transfer students, about 25%. And then if you're part of our honors program and use our UCLA TAP agreement, it's about 79% admission rate. We have a lot of different programs. So even if you don't want to transfer, we have a lot of great programs. We have nursing, which is a popular program. Most of you know most jobs in the medical profession get paid quite well, and they don't have to have a four-year degree, right? They're starting to move in that direction, but there's some good programs. So these are typically kind of the four different paths that a lot of students will take, but today we're going to kind of focus on the transfer path. So these are the other options. Here's the apprenticeship. We have apprenticeship programs where you can learn hands-on training and get paid while you're doing it. We have a lot of CTE programs, which aren't necessarily transfer, but they can lead into transfer pathways. And then we have our transfer pathway, and we have these three general options. You can look at transferring to CSU, UC, or private or out of state. I'm in charge of the transfer center, where we provide services like assisting with applications. We do university tours so students can get an opportunity to check out different campuses to make sure that they select the one that best fits them. We have a Sac State representative and a UC State representative come to our campus weekly to meet with students, and they also represent the whole institution, so they can also help the students with other CSU campuses or UC campuses if they don't want to go to Davis or Sac State. We have Transfer Day, kind of similar to this, where you have bringing university reps on campus so you can get information. And then we just help students create pathways and ed plans to make sure that they're on the quickest path to whatever goal they decide. So we have this thing through the CSU system called ADTs, or transfer degrees. You might have heard something about these. But basically it gives students perks so that they followed a specific pathway. So for example, if you're a business major, that's our most popular major. There's a transfer degree for business, which will guarantee you into one of the 23 CSUs if you decide to use that major. It doesn't guarantee you into Sac State necessarily, but they'll get you into one of the business programs at one of the 23 CSU campuses. So you may not get into Sac State, but you might get into Bakersfield. So really it's important to still follow if any of you know about ASSIST, it kind of tells you what you would want to have in order to have the best chance of getting into like Sac State, for example. The other kind of big deal about the ADTs is it's really trying to get students out in 4 years. So many of you have probably seen that the average student takes about 4 to 6 years to get through it, and they're really trying to cut that down. So this is an effort to make sure students get out of community college in 60 units, which is 2 years, and then get out of the 4-year part in 2 years, so get them out in 4 years. So here's a list of the ADTs that we offer at American River College. Each college offers a different options. This is currently what we have at American River College, and this list has been growing rapidly because this has been around for a couple of years, but it's been pretty successful, so they're continually growing to this program. So for those who are interested in UCs, we have a program called TAG, and there's 6 of the 9 participate. There's 3 that don't like to play the game of tag, which would be UC San Diego, UCLA, and UC Berkeley, right? So if you want to go to those schools, you just go through the regular application process. But if you're interested in any of these 6 schools, they have the tag, and Basically, if you meet the requirements that they set forth, you're guaranteed admissions as a transfer student to those campuses. So at American River College, we have an honors program, and our honors program has what's called a Transfer Alliance program with UCLA, which is a very popular school that many students want to go to. So one of the benefits of being an honors student is if you complete our honors certificate, which is take 5 honors courses and maintain a 3.5 cumulative GPA, then you can be a part of this program, which increases your admission rate from 25% to 79%. And it's for the College of Letters and Science majors. So if you want to be an engineering student, this would not help you. So our honors program is a nice program. I'm the honors counselor, so students that are honors students would meet with me. We often have them, they get to go on certain trips, and they do presentations and special honors programs to give them more of a, it's above and beyond the normal curriculum, and the class sizes for honors courses is about 20 students, which is a nice size. So it has a lot of great perks for the honors students. There are also other programs that that we're a part of to give honors students admission priorities for other UC or university campuses, both private and public. And then also being an honors student gives you more options in terms of scholarship options. So at UCLA, there's 2 scholarships that honors students are eligible for. One would give you $5,000 per year for 2 years, and another one gives you $9,000 per year for 2 years. We also have other agreements with other private colleges. So we have over 21 agreements with, or over 21 historically Black community colleges that we have agreements with. We have some with some private and out of state. So Arizona State University, we have agreements with. University Pacific. WUI is a program where it has many universities in one program, where they cap the percentage of out-of-state tuition costs that they can charge a student. So counseling obviously would be an important component of becoming as a transfer student, because transfer is a very complicated process. I'm sure you've experienced as high school students. It gets a little easier as a college student, but it still can be complex depending on how many schools you're interested in and what your major is and all that. So meeting with the counselor regularly is a pretty important key to that process. Our Career Center can also help, because oftentimes I find students aren't super clear on what they want to be when they grow up or what major they're going to select. So sometimes Career Center can assist with that. We have many support services. We have DSPS services. We have probably one of the best veteran centers in Northern California. We have Journey, Trio, CalWorks, Puente, Emoja, all programs supporting underrepresented students. MESA is a program which we now call STEM, which is for basically science, math, and engineering students. And that's pretty much it. Do you guys have questions? Yes, sir. So if you go to our transfer center and then you just come down to UC, and then you come down to the transfer admission guarantee, right? And then right here I have the UC tag matrix ready for you. And then this is going to tell you for each campus who's participating in terms of majors and who's not. Typically, almost all majors do participate from those campuses, but it will list it here for you. What are the excluding majors for tag, and then it goes for each campus. So it'll show you, like, so you see Irvine, like business administration is excluded. Yes.
Do you have any success rate of students that actually go to the transfer and they graduate?
You mean that transfer from us to, like, in terms of like campus, or just in
terms of, did they graduate afterwards the transfer?
Oh, well, the only thing we rely on is the research that shows kind of what we look as a comparison from native students, which are students that went to that campus as a freshman, versus our transfer students, and they're just successful, if not more successful. Yeah.
Like you said, like if you do some business, major in business, then that program is excluded from TAG.
Then you would just go through the normal process. So it wouldn't be a guarantee, but it doesn't mean you couldn't get in. This is just kind of I call it the cherry on top. right? Like, because it's before the regular application. So tag students just applied in September, but the regular application's in November, and they still have to do a regular application, but they'll know earlier whether or not they got in. So what some students will do is they'll tag to like Davis, but they might want to go to UCLA, but they know they're going to get into Davis, so that takes pressure off, right? Because now they know they're getting into AUC because they know earlier, and they know that they were going to get into that, so they don't have to worry like, am I going to get into a campus? They know they can get into Davis. So what some students will do is they'll tag, because you can only tag to one of the 6, so they'll tag to the school that they want to tag to, and then they might go after Berkeley or UCLA or some other campuses also, and then hopefully get admitted to all of them and then make the decision. But it's just some campuses don't have the tag option, so they can only apply through the regular admission. Oh, WUI? So WUI is just, there's universities and colleges that are participants, and if you're a participant, then they're basically, it's making sure that they can't charge you out-of-state tuition more than the 150%. Because sometimes it's a lot, right? Like out-of-state tuition, they can really get you. It could be 2 times or 3 times more than the residents pay. Yeah, but sometimes it could even help you within the state. But it's just a program that if you're going to apply to those campuses and you're an American River College student and you let them know that, they can give you some discounts or some help. Yeah, so they actually have, like, not specifically to our campus, but you can actually, if you Google 2019 UCLA, what's it called? I can pull it up for you let me see if I have it. But basically, it'll show you how many students apply and then how many get in. And so usually for UCLA, you're going to see like it's high, right? Like, so for things like engineering, business, economics, psychology, you're going to probably want a GPA around 3.8, right? But if you have a 3.8, then you're going to probably have a pretty good chance.
So you said the tag program with a guaranteed, if they tag a UC school, they're guaranteed to get into that UC.
As long as you meet the criteria, yep. So they'll say as long as you have a 3.2, and then the major will say these courses have to be done by a certain time, and as long as you do all those things, you're in.
And so then it's the same for all the Los Rios campuses, so like Folsom Lake has the same as...
Yeah, the tag is it's a community college. You could go to Sierra, or you could be in the Bay Area, and yeah, it's not like the UCLA tab where it's specific to a campus. Like, we have to go through special things to keep that program going through the honors, but the tag is any community college student.
For students, they apply for the UC, they need to claim their major. So do they have to claim the major when they go to the community college in the first day they don't have to?
Yeah, and even as a transfer student, you can pick undecided, but it's not encouraged. So your question is about using AP scores?
No, like taking courses in community college. Is that only during summer vacation, or they can?
No, it can be any semester. You just have to complete the process before the first day of school. And they can take a max of 2 courses per semester. And the courses can't be something that's offered at the high school, because we can't take away from the high schools, right? So, yeah, but there's quite a few students that do that. Yeah. There's 6. No, UCLA is not a tag school. UCLA, Berkeley, and San Diego are not tag schools. So I'm going to stop, and if you have questions, I'll come over here, get out of the next presenters way, because they got to set up. So I'll hang out over here. If you have questions, we can talk.